Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I have a little guest here who wanted to say hello.
Hello. Subscribe to my channel. Its name is Nate Dog.
Nate Dog.
So subscribe if you guys.
Alright, tell everybody you'll see him in the next one, okay, buddy?
I see you in a little bit.
Say bye. Wave to the camera.
Bye. But comment, like the video too.
Okay,
Goodbye.
Thank you, buddy. Alright, so little man just wanted to say hey. He was standing off to the side while I was getting ready to start filming. So, this is a video series for Company of Heroes, and I'm calling this one Go Big or Go Home because we are going big, and I actually went as big with it as I possibly could. If you see, I back out a little bit here. I actually had to jerry-rig my boards on top of my dining room table because I did not have enough space on the table itself for all the game the size that I wanted to do. And the wife wouldn't let me take over the kitchen island for a game for a period of days. So I am making this work. This gives me a little bit of extra space. I was going to do the huge map size, but unfortunately I can't do the huge map because the table is not long enough. You guys see I'm almost to the edge over here. These are 3 map pieces just to show you how massively large this game is. There's map piece here, and this green one you can definitely tell is a different map piece. So it's a big game, but we've got 4 players. There's 2 AI players that are going to be in. This first video is going to be an overview. I'm going to tell you who's on what sides, who all is playing, and a couple little jerry-rigged rules for the game to kind of help the flow. All right, first up, and just to show you, I do have a good chunk of the buildings on the board. A couple of buildings I have left unpainted. I did promise the wife that she could paint them, and unfortunately I'm still kicking myself. I did not get Terrain Pack 2, that big building right there, the one right there in the center of the frame, was in Terrain Pack 2, and I am so kicking myself for not getting it. I just couldn't afford it at the time, but they are doing a 1.5 Kickstarter, so I think I'm going to look on trying to pick up a couple of extra add-ons during that period of time because these buildings are just fun to paint. All right, so the first side, we've got one here, one there, and like I said, 2 AIs. We've got the US, and I picked for a commander the Heavy Cavalry Commander. Now, this is from the Elite Pack, okay? Both of them are from the Elite Pack, and this one gives me access to the Pershings, these big, beautiful minis that are just awesome. They even say Pershing on the bottom. Don't you just love that? So just to show you the special abilities, they get to do cheaper field defenses, so they can put up sandbags and stuff for 1 command point versus 2. And then when we get into the next one, combined arms, it allows them to have extra range and sight. So that's good stuff. Requisition officer, Wolverines and Shermans cost 1 less fuel. That's a big one. Definitely going to try to get that one. And of course, the Pershing call-in, which gives you 1 extra Pershing for free. That's the big Mama Jama tank. So I'm definitely going to try to get that. That's the commander for them. And then obviously they're going to start off with just their basic U.S. headquarters, which gives them riflemen, mortar team, and Willys Jeeps. But they do have the potential to unlock 2 other buildings, level 2 and level 3. But they have the special ability that they can move straight to the level 3 building if they want to. They don't have to stick with just going straight up like some of the other factions do. Now for starts, I chose to have 1 rifle squad and 1 mortar squad. Figured they could work well together. Now, these points are the ones that I'm going to consider the base, the rally point, the retreat point. And while I'm addressing that, when we're looking at our map, I was thinking about it because this map, when we're looking at the large ones, 3 map pieces, it's more designed for 6 players versus 4, which is effectively kind of what I got going on here. And I was afraid that the game would end up being mainly fought here and mainly fought in the green section. So I came up with a workaround. This isn't specifically in the rules, but this is kind of me ad hocing it just a little bit to make it work well. And that is, there are points here on the middle one. One is one that I added, and one is one that's printed, and the AI has the same on that side. I'll show you there here in just a second. So what I've done is basically the US forces, the Soviet forces, who are these guys, they have each 2 spawn points. Everyone has 2 spawn points basically, and their units can come in from either spawn point. So I'll choose for this side. This side of the table is the one that I'm playing. I can pick either here or here for my forces to come in, or, you know, adjacent to it. But basically these 2 hexes, because this one's a water hex, obviously they can't go on it, or right in here for US forces to spawn in. The Soviets have the same thing, and the AI has the same thing. That way, there's forces that can push in this way and go this way, and it kind of forces them to fight in the center for those resources and victory points as well. It's not going to just be left open. That's my little workaround, since there isn't a player right here to kind of get forces here, and we're going to ad hoc it for the AI players. Now, for the other one, like I mentioned, we're going with the Soviets. They're going to be allies to the US forces, and we went with counter-attack tactics as our commander here. I don't know if they have a name or anything. Both of these are from the Elite Commander set. I wanted to use the expansion guys to see how cool they are. Plus, they get access to the big tanks, and I love big tanks. So he has Recon Flight for his first thing. For 2 munitions, place an eye die on any hex. That hex and all adjacent hexes are visible until the next round. So that is really cool. Basically, eyeing this guy, he can pick anywhere, and then say this was the eye, he would be able to see here and all the way around. Vision is very important in this game because your range, your line of sight is basically 2 with very, very small exceptions. So that really can come in handy if you have like mortar teams that can fire out a long ways like the Soviets do. Also, their infantry sucks, is what I found for the Soviets. Their shock troopers are my kind of hope to work around that. They're expensive, but hopefully they will come in handy. They can deploy smoke onto an enemy unit during the maneuver phase. This is all experience points, so you have to unlock it, and you don't get free shock troops, unfortunately. You do get a free IS-2, though, if you unlock this. But that's 1 experience point, and this is 3 and 3. So those are expensive to get, but definitely want that. And the last one isn't that good. I don't think it's going to do me a whole lot of good, but it's nice to have. Armor-piercing damage affects buildings. So cool, awesome, nice to have it. And just so you guys know, this will be a little more stable. I'm not going to hold it the whole time, the camera. I'm just doing that on the first one so I can walk around the table, show you guys everything. Soviets have the same thing. 3 buildings that they're going to work up. So for starting out, like I said, their troops aren't as good. They have conscripts on starting out, and you see they only have 3 health. They're basically infantry with 1 less health. Their upgrades aren't quite as good, but they can get a flamethrower, which is nice. But starting out, you have to choose between what you want. You get 2 green units, right? So for them, I decided to go with 2 mortar teams because their mortar teams cost 5, whereas their conscripts cost 3. They both have a health of 3, and I was like, screw it, I'll go with the conscript. I'll go with the mortar team. They're not quite as mobile. They can't repair things. They can't set up sandbags, but they cost more. So they can still capture, they can still do that crap, and I can buy some conscripts to help them out. The U.S. forces, the ones down there, they both started here because when I was looking at it, I was like, well, there's good resource points right here, plus there's a victory point right there. There's a victory point right there, and my other spawn point here, there's nothing very close. So I was like, I will put forces in this direction, but I want to lock down what I've got going on over there first. The Soviets, I'm looking at it, and over here, there's not a whole lot of quick resources to get to. So I was like, well, I'll put this guy here, have him run forward, grab this manpower resource to bump that up. All this yellow here, that's all light cover. That'll definitely come in handy. The green is heavy cover, red is impassable, so you can't cross this, but it does count as cover. So if you have people behind it shooting across it, give you a real good cover. But anyway, it would take a while to get over here. There's a manpower right there, but there's also a fuel here. All right. And I think there's, a munition there. I know I'm not going to get that munition. That's too far into the area. I'm going to have to push for that later. But I can get these 2 manpowers very quickly and try to swarm them with troops and some of the lighter stuff and see if I can get kind of built up a little bit, get a early rush going with the Soviets, and then push up, get this fuel, hold on to that, get this victory point, and maybe help to hold this victory point here. The only other resource up over here is another manpower resource. Now, just in case you don't understand the rules of the game and you haven't seen this before, the resource points have to do with this. This is your income. You start with 1 with all the exception of the victory points. So you have to earn those. And when you're playing the solitaire AI, you do not get victory points for killing troops. So gaining those control nodes are going to be key for me in winning this game. But when you gain control, you move it up. And that's how many of those you're going to get during each supply phase, which affects, what you can buy. This is the cost of those units. It costs 3 manpower points to get a conscript out, right? So you've got to take and get as much money, income as you can. So that's my thought with these guys. They've got good stuff. And with their commander getting that IS-2 later on, I can kind of swarm them heavy with infantry early on, get into the shock troops there once I've unlocked those. And then you see I can buy those 5 manpower and 1 munition. So hopefully I'll have unlocked some munitions later on. There is one right here, there in the center if I can get to it. So shock troops and IS-2s are my goal. Hopefully. We'll see. The Soviets do have some decent stuff. They have some AT guns, sniper squad that has some special bonuses, T-70 light tank, which sucks if you played World Tanks. And then for their heavy building, they do have T-34s, which are good, SU-76, and a SU-85 that I can potentially get later. And since I didn't show you, we'll show the American up tiers. Their middle building, machine gun team, which is awesome, great for pinning, anti-tank gun team, and then the Greyhound, which is like their armored car. And then upgraded, we can get a major. He has certain bonuses. Sherman, obviously, and then the Wolverine, which is like a lightly armored, open-topped Sherman tank destroyer. So good stuff there, but not as powerful as that Pershing. I like big tanks. That's what I'm going for. Okay, so we're on the backside now. The Soviets are over there. This is the backside of that. And against them, I have gone with the mobile commander. All right. One small adjustment I am making here is I am matching his command points per, because there's not a whole lot of these blocks. And I think the solitaire expansion is really meant to be used for like one solitaire character, because there's not really enough blocks for the way I'm kind of playing it. But that's fine. I'm kind of making my own game. You guys know how I like to do it. So I am doing him 3 and 4 instead of 4 and 5, matching him with the other commander. Everything else is going to be the same. So I've got his blocks set out here. He'll start with the same thing my guys do. Now mine don't level up. After he hits this 5th round, then he gets these extra command points, and that's going to hurt. Now on this side, we've got the feeble commander. So I've got 1 medium and 1 easy. But the easy I don't think is really going to make that big of a difference. I think they'll both play roughly the same. So we'll see how it plays off. They're both going to go into phase 2 at the same time. Remember, that's the red point here. And I wanted the ease of not having to worry about potential variables. Some of the AI commanders change what units they deploy depending on how many victory points you control, which is great. That gives it variable difficulty. Cool. If you have more victory points, you're kicking more ass, they're going to put out heavier stuff. cool. If you're getting your, stuff pushed in, then they're not going to put out as much heavy stuff. All right, cool. But with this, I just already have enough that I'm having to keep track of with 4 different players, basically 2 AIs and then 2 I'm controlling. So I'm not going to take and have any of those guys. I think this will be the easier way to go. Now, he has 1 spawn point here, and then the other one for him is going to be right here. So what I think I'm going to do is, before we start the actual game, remember this one's just the overview showing you guys what's up. I'm going to take and roll, because he does have 2 green guys, and we're going to see like something like 1 to 3 here, 4 to 6 here, on where the AI is going to put it. That's the other variable I'm putting into it, on where they deploy their troops. Now, if I think a better choice would for them would be something like putting them over here. They're getting really kicked in, or they have an objective, like there's a big reason for them to go this way or this way. I'll just make the call on that. But we'll have to see how that goes, because they did not put rules in for the way I'm playing the solitaire, having 2 spawn points like this. Over on this side, like I said, the feeble commander is the one facing off against the U.S. troops. They're pushing up. I think the feeble commander is going to have a better chance over here, because there's quick resources to get, just like there was on the U.S. side, because we got manpower here, we've got munitions here, we've got more manpower here. Now, again, that doesn't affect them because they deploy what they deploy, but they can take control of these areas and make it harder for me, right? As they're pushing forward, they're going to push towards these nodes based on the AI control cards. That's going to make it a little bit harder for me to just run up and grab them. Plus, they've got buildings here. So I figured, with this being the most advantageous spot, I put the feeble commander in it. So the feeble commander do the best job. 1 stack of tokens. And I'm just going to draw them. I'll shuffle them up real good before we do it, and then just draw them off the top. I'm not going to divide them out for each side. They'll just draw. And I'm doing the same thing with the cards. Now, the thing is, I'm going to draw a card for this commander and then draw a card for this commander. I'm not going to draw 1 card and have both commanders execute the same thing. I want to try to give it some more variables, like as many variables as I can give. So same thing, if we happen to burn through the deck too quick, just because 2 AIs, we'll just shuffle the deck. Same thing with phase 2, because there aren't a whole lot of phase 2 cards. We'll just shuffle them if we need to. Not a big deal. Now, the only other thing I did do was I pulled out the German miniatures just so I can throw those on for any of the tanks or vehicles. And it's for these little tokens. Let's see. Yeah, like there's a Panzer. If I got a tank miniature in there, I'll throw the tank miniature on it just so it looks cool as it's moving along. It's not a big deal, but it'll make the game look a little bit better. Oh, look at that Sturm Panzer. I don't want to look at it too much because I don't want to spoil some of the surprises. I got to make sure to shuffle these up. So the feeble commander, have these 2 areas to spawn in. He can go in either direction. Same thing, roll, see where he's going to spawn. Are they going to divide? Are they going to centralize their forces? It's going to be random over here, and then based on the cards, and then I'll make choices. We'll see how well the AI does. I was thinking about taking and just controlling 1 AI side myself completely, like actually just using the stuff, using the cards, using everything, gaining the points. But I thought that would just be a little much with me already controlling the 2 sides over there. Plus, I kind of want to put their solitaire system to the test and see how well it does with all of these and me playing really hard against it. Right now, my money is on the AI winning. So you guys put down in the comments if you think the AI is going to win or I'm going to win. Because remember, I'm on a time limit. I have until defeat to gain enough victory points. Now, this one is 10, and this one is 12. So we might just split the difference and call it 11 for the win. We'll see how the game's playing out. But this series is going to take a little while. You guys are going to have to bear with me because it is set up outside of my office, and I have to wait until the kids are in bed to film it. So we'll just have to see how long it takes. But I want to try to film a little bit each evening. It's just going to be a lot with me filming probably a turn with all the AI or all my stuff, and then a turn with the AI responses. It take a while to go through 9 whole rounds, but we'll see how it does. You guys put down any of your questions, comments, any of that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. So who do you like more, mommy or daddy? You have to think about it?
Mommy.
Mommy?
Okay, both.
You like mommy better.
Both.
You little traitor.
Both the same.
Both the same? All right, say goodbye, buddy.
Goodbye.